Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Command Center, where we like to put our favorite commander, maybe even yours, front and center. And you know we can't do it unless we play those three grimy letters, EDH. What does it stand for today, Hadoken?
Y'all know what it stands for by now. It stands for Eternal Dingling Hobbits. That's right. The new ban list has come out, people, and it is furious out there. The streets is talking right now because there have been some prevalent bans out there. That's right. Farewell has been banned. Villainous Wealth has been banned. So we're gonna get into these discussions right now and talk about some of the sickness that's been going on in this format. But before we do, Derek, what are we actually talking about today?
I don't know. You made my heart skip a beat. You said Villainous Wealth is banned, and I got very sad. I wasn't mentally prepared to hear those words. We're talking about, look, some people like to just jump out ahead and like win games of Magic, and that sounds really stressful. But the most satisfying way is to just flip the script. When someone thinks they have it, they've done everything right, strategically, deck building wise, and they think they're about to win. And then you cast one single card that just changes the entire game. They go from, oh, I'm about to win to, oh no, what did I do? I've made poor life decisions. I feel like most of the time Ken gets me with these a lot. Like a lot. So I'm eager to hear some of his secret tech, and this is just a secret plot to just learn what he's trying to do to kill me in various games.
I like to quote the great Marshall of Mathers, who said, you only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This happened when he was talking about, being sweaty up by his mom's spaghetti. But we don't have time to go into that topic right now. But yeah, sometimes, your back is against the wall and you need to Yugi your O to keep from going in the Shadow Realm. And you need to top deck your Dark Magician. Every deck.
You got to mirror force a mother effort.
You need to create infinite Karibo up in this BI.
Yep.
But, you need, your Obelisk the Tormentors. You need your Exodius to help you bounce back and win the games. You need your draw 4. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the break in case of emergencies to save your behind when the going gets tough.
So yeah, I guess I can give a couple like just very well-known examples that are kind of not super interesting, but like so people get the idea. I think one of the best known and the most common nowadays is Inkshield. Inkshield is super famous for this, where Inkshield will put you in a spot where you're 100% dead. It fogs, gives you 1,000,000 2/1s, and then you're just killing the table. For 5 mana at instant speed, Arachnogenesis was like an older version of that. So those types of cards, it's just like you almost are waiting for it. But the fun thing about this is I've seen y'all cast some cards that I never heard of and I didn't know existed. So you can't prepare for something if you don't know it exists. Said, I'm looking directly at you because I don't even remember the name of that. I'm going to save it for you, whatever that blue thing was that you did to just take out a player and all of his ancestors for years to come. Well, yeah, we'll get to that. But does anybody want to kick it off? Does anyone have one ready, or do you want me to just jump into my list of goodies?
We can jump it off with the one you were just alluding to.
Let's start with that because I'll let you talk about this one because I still don't know if it's a real card. So actually, tell me. I'm gonna look it up on Scryfall now.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about Reigns of Power, right?
Yes, that's what it is.
Yes. Reigns of Power is 2 and 2 blue. This is a oldie, but a lovely, not just a goodie. Oldie, but a lovely. Me and Reigns of Power go way back. You see, when I was just a young scamp, getting into Magic the Gathering, specifically Commander, the Commander format. Back in the day, we should call it EDH. I was getting my butt kicked left and right because people just running all over me. Oh, what's that? What you got there? A 3/1? You don't have first strike? Yeah, I'm running straight over that. Taking out commander damage. So I'm just getting trucked left and right trying to learn commander. So I was like, okay, I got something for y'all. I'm going to take your best creatures because clearly I can't keep creatures on the board in your Molly and your Whopping. So I'm going to use your best creatures against you when I'm at a disadvantage at a strategically sound point in the game. You just can't jump out with your range of power all willy-nilly. You always got to find that right moment when you're casting these spells, and I think that's something I've learned a lot when it comes to playing Magic is when to cast these break in the case of emergency spells, because you only get one shot, like Ken was saying with Eminem. You only get one chance. Reigns of Power, when you're at a disadvantage, that's the best time to deploy it because they get virtually nothing on your side of the board, And if they're way ahead of the game, you just take their best stuff and swing it back at them or wherever you want to swing it. Because it also gives haste.
And it's an instant. And yeah, the blue giving haste is wild because there's some blue control magic type effects that steal things. You've even played a land that you can like tap, discard a card to steal control of a creature. I've seen, or it's an enchantment. I think that you can like tap, discard a card, something like that, to gain control of a creature. But those don't give haste.
Yeah, that one doesn't give haste. Not every blue spell gives haste that steals creatures. So you got to do it at an opportune time, or you have to have something on your side of the board that grants haste. I'm blanking on the name that you're talking about. The name of that spell. That I love playing that spell. But that one's a little bit more obvious. It's a little bit more telegraphed. So we don't really have to address that one too much. But yeah, that is a card that throws people off their game.
Yeah, that card Reigns of Power is silly. I need to slot that in decks because 4 mana, instant speed. Board states get so crazy so fast nowadays in Commander. It's not like, I feel like these effects used to be less effective. That's a poor way to phrase it back in the day because it was like a build up and like you might be equal to somebody. Now it's like shit. You can be on turn 5 or 6 and someone has an entire army ready to just kill you. That's awesome. Ken, do you have one ready?
I do. Of course, I like to do to quote the great Christopher Bridges, who let these holes in my room. Selfless Squire is always out there, so a lot of people don't see Selfless Squire coming. It's a flash soldier for 3, and when it enters, any damage and all damage that you were going to take that turn, it goes on the Selfless Squire as 1/1 counters. So you can have a lot of fun with that. You can be on the precipice of taking a lot of damage, and now you have a huge creature that you can, in addition, fling at somebody and get these hoes out my room. So Selfless Squire is one I like to put up to the bat.
Yeah, I also don't think I've ever seen that card before. That's ridiculous.
Selfless Squire is one of Ken's. I like. Oh, look at me! I'm not doing anything. Don't attack me. Oh no, you're attacking me. Psych. This is one of those type of strategies that Ken plays. But yeah, Selfless Squire is. I think you said 3, but I think it's 3 and a white. To flash it out. Yeah, it has flash, and so it's a fog that gets bigger. That it just absorbs the damage, and you just have a swole creature on your side of the board. Like, haha, you thought you were swinging out at me, but you just gave me all the power to swing back at you next turn.
To quote Rita Repulsa and every Blue Chew Viagra, make my creature grow. But yeah, that's why I like Selfless Squire.
That is silly. Yeah, and all these are instant speed. Damn, this is why I never feel safe attacking y'all. Because it's just you just got all this hiding.
I never feel safe attacking Ken.
That's why I thought it was hilarious when we were playing the other day, and all of us sitting there with open meta and says like, "Nope."
I've seen this story play out many a time.
I was like, "Come on!" I was like, "Come on, Sam, why don't you swing this way?" And Daddy was like, "You swing over here too."
Most play groups, you attack into open mana, you might get swords, rapid hybridization, something like that. In this play group, you attack into open mana, they're basically saying, give us all your clothes, you can keep your drawers, give us your deck.
No, we want your socks too. We want your socks too. I'm taking the lotion off your legs. You walking home butt naked and ashy.
Yeah,
you can never feel safe. You just never. Now I understand why. I need to step it up. Now my list looks so terrible. None of these, I had nothing on my list this good, and this is just the first card.
What you got, Derek?
Okay, so my first one I want to talk about is a lower mana value one, tricky-ish. It's not to this level, but one of my favorites is Narset's Reversal, and also if we're gonna go with the OG version from like Alpha, Fork, which is effectively a similar-ish effect. I don't run these cards enough. Anytime I have a fork in my hand, or I guess not an actual fork, but if I have the card Fork in my hand or Narset's Reversal, I feel safe because I know whatever awful stuff y'all are going to try to do, I can copy it and mine will resolve first. I know one of the things that we just died to a Rise of the Dark Realms recently in the pre-con battle. Like, that's the coolest thing about these spells is you can copy it, your copy resolves first. If you go to Rise of the Dark Realms, I'm going to fork it. I get everything out of graveyards. You get nothing. And there's so many different big splashy spells that even if your opponent's using, no one is prepared. If someone goes to Fireball for 1 million or draw a bunch of cards or do all these things for 2 mana, if you're forking it, you also get a copy. But even better, if you're Narset's Reversaling, you're getting a copy and making them basically waste their turn if they just used a big mana value spell for 2 mana. And that's just one of those things where you can go from, all right, this person's about to pop off. I mean, Kent, you just countered one of my red spell makes 1 million mana. Why is it not a game changer? Mana Geyser. You just countered. Imagine just Narset's Reversaling a Mana Geyser instead. Because you actually did copy it. You already are ahead of this. This is why, yeah. This hurts my brain. But yeah, you could just copy it, get 1 million mana yourself, say you have to wait till next turn. Like I think those are two of the ones that they're kind of hard to evaluate when deck building, and I struggle with that where I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to copy. It's like the Mirage Mirror effect. It can be anything, so I'm not going to put it in the deck because I don't know what it is. And then every time I die to it, I'm like, I just need to put that in decks. Why am I not doing that? So
yeah,
those are my next ones.
I just
to elaborate on that. Just to elaborate, Mirage Mirror, please play it. It's a 3-drop mana artifact, 2 to copy a permanent on a board. It changes your life, and kind of in line of what you were just saying, Derek. Dualcaster Mage is kind of like a fork that you can flash out for 1 and 2 red to also kind of just. You never know when you're going to need to copy something. So if you can't afford to fork, you got the Dualcaster Mage to kind of do. Other spells that kind of do some of the same thing, but at flash speed, you get yours out there first.
I know you shiftless bastards ain't gonna sit there and try to overstay. You know I have been preaching the gospel of Mirage Mirror right up there with the gospel of the second verse of Kai's Ghost Form for the past 3 years. y'all are not gonna sit here and try to invoke this when you heathens were going through the shadow of doubt, talking disgrace behind this backs. I know you shiftless bastards ain't gonna sit there and try to tap dance on this.
How does he act like we weren't part of the gospel? I was always singing both of their praises. Like I was right there along with you. I gave you the space to get on that. I set up the soapbox. What are you talking about?
You shut up, Judas. I don't got time for your heresy in this church. Not in this dojo. I refuse. And Derek, I want to go back to a couple of days when we played the other day, and I countered that spell. You was like, you fell for my trap anyway. I fell for the trap of countering 18 mana. Oh, okay, that's a silly.
So what had happened was I wheeled too many times. I thought I had Feldon in my hand still, and I had a Cavalier of Flame in graveyard, and I thought I was going to copy it and kill the table. I then read my hand and realized Feldon got shuffled away in one of the 17 wheels that just happened, and I did not, in fact, have the game won. So I was highly disappointed.
To quote the great Cat Williams, you shouldn't have been talking shit.
All right, I want to jump into my next package.
Yes.
I kind of want to throw all of these into one because I feel like they do similar things, and they're all in the same colors. So my Dark Magician, if I'm playing anything with these colors in it, this card is definitely making a deck. Ratos Charm.
Ratos Charm. I knew it. I knew you were going to say that. That's the only card you keep on you. I know that you keep that card on you like everything. I know. You play that in mono green decks, you bastard. I know you have it on you. Every time I was like, he got 2 mana up. I already know what he about to play.
Ratos Charm is Ratos colors, red and black. Choose one. There's really only one choice to choose, generally, and it's always each creature deals 1 damage to the controller. You want to know why? Because for some reason, over the years, Wizards decided everybody needs tokens. You get tokens. You poop out tokens. You generate tokens. Here, everybody have tokens. So I was like, yeah. Everybody, yeah, just make that board state ridiculous as you like. Do your thing. Do you. And let you know, again, opportune time. I get your life total to maybe half or close to half, and then Ratos Charm to either single digits or just game over. So Ratos Charm has been putting in work for years, and I do just want to mention a couple of them. Wait, kind of going along with this.
Before you do that, I love the fact that you said Ratos Charm is Ratos colors. That's what I'm sitting there looking like. What?
just for the listeners, just in case they're not visual people. You know what I'm saying?
Visuals.
Because I mean, we do have some spells in this last set, like Teamer or whatever, and that's a monocolored enchantment, I think, or something like that. Like it's not all the colors. Like it's given the names that it's not all the colors. So
we got an Esper creature a creature named Esper in Final Fantasy that I think is mono red. So
Yeah,
you got some weird shit going on nowadays.
Yeah, too much cross paths, and streams are crossing, and you never know what you get out the multiverse. But a couple of Rakdos cards I think that needs to go on people's radar. These two do exactly the same thing. One is called Backlash, the other is called Delirium. The only thing is Delirium has one restriction. I'll explain it in just a second. But basically it says it's an instant for 1 in Rakdos. Tap target untapped creature. That creature deals damage equal to its power to its controller. So kind of the opposite of Ratos Charm. Some people like to go wide. Some people like to go tall. So for the people who like to go big and tall, yeah, how about you tap that down and just take the damage equal to the power of your greatest creature you have there. And the only downside with Delirium is that you can only do it on your opponent's turn, whereas Backlash says you can do it anytime.
Backlash is silly. Imagine having that and Ratos Charm in hand and just being ready for the world. Just it doesn't matter what anyone does. You're like, they're dead regardless. They make a big creature, a bunch of creatures. Fuck them all. It just doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, so I thought about the strategies I like to play, and I try to figure out like how to beat me, because like I was doing a lot of tokens for a while, so it's like, okay, I would need a Ratos Charm to beat me. Right now I'm doing something crazy where I'm trying to make stupidly large creatures, especially with Quorum, the Undertaker. Like my goal is to get him as big as possible, and I have a strategy where I'm gonna just go ahead and reveal it, where maybe I let someone else get Quorum, and they think they're safe. No, you're not.
So
you gotta have ways to beat your own decks.
So basically, you say you stay at home all day, figure out how to beat yourself.
Even Batman's prep time, has contingencies for when he needs to be dealt with.
Yeah. Batman ain't staying in the Batcave beating himself. I ain't never read that in a comic book.
3 things. 1, you don't know that. 2, you don't know that.
Batman's off hours get weird. they get weird.
Shut the door, Alfred.
Cam, what you got next?
Okay, I got 2 things, and both of these are like combat related. So when the inevitable is coming, and when people are trying to bear down on you, and sometimes you just need to skip that combat because you don't want to die. And this isn't really a fog effect, but it is. So ready? It's called Moment of Silence. So Moment of Silence says target player skips his or her combat phase this turn. So that shuts all that down, and it's 1 white too, and it's an instant. So it's like, you know what? You have a fully loaded board. You're about to beat me to death. How about you just skip that combat and you move to your second main, please? And while you're down there, go find a stick to fornicate yourself with.
Where this can't be? I'm looking at the card, and it's on Gather, I think. So I know it's real, and I still don't think it's a real card.
It's a bunch of people standing around telling you to shut the hell up. That's what
it literally is. It's a bunch of people with candles that are just like, yeah, not today. No combat here.
Yeah.
That old dude looks, and then there's even a little kid. Yeah, they just all look very scary.
Well, the old dude is like the arc parent mage of Shut the Hell Up. He was shutting the hell up when he was 2 years old and used to walk to the school both ways up 2 hills when it was snowing. He is the godfather, the grandmaster of shutting the hell up.
From the gospel of Shut the Hell Up.
As a matter of fact, when he came out the womb, he didn't cry; he was silent. And the second card that I want to allude to is this is in red, and again, this is when you know that when you don't draw a lot of hate from the table, and people are starting to collude. Said and Derek, and your number is almost up. Disrupt the Quorum. Disrupt the Quorum says gold all creatures you don't control. So those creatures ain't your problem no more.
Yeah, Disrupt the Quorum. Oh god, sorry.
Yeah, Disrupt the Quorum. I think gold in itself is a good disruptor. It throws off people plans. Some people, if they're not. Some people can get around it in some ways, but some people, it definitely wrecks their plan because it throws off their game plan. But yeah, especially if they got some large stuff going on, and you don't want that coming at you, disrupt the quorum, goad it all day. Is not my problem. It gives yourself another turn to basically deal with whatever's at the table.
So yeah, so when like two people at the table colluding, ain't gonna mention no names, Med and Fleric, and they don't want to attack each other, yeah, you can kind of force their hand at this point and make them aim at each other. I'm only going to send this one at you. Do you mind if I pass through and hit you? Sure. The water's all fine, you bastards.
Anyone listening that doesn't watch our streams, you don't know what this man does to us on a weekly basis to cause this to happen.
Collusion. If you watch the league, it is collusion.
All right, I'm going to take the next one here. This next one, it's terrible in our play group because it just doesn't affect you two. But in most games, if someone's popping off, one of my favorite cards to play is Price of Progress. So Price of Progress is a 2-mana instant, and it's very simple, and it just says each player takes damage equal to twice the number of non-basic lands that they control. And I love this card especially because there's so many green-based value decks in the format now, to where if you're playing in like that 2 to 3 range, there's so many commanders that are just like, play a land, draw a card, then play more lands into play, and then I'm going to put this land into play, and what if I do this land? And if you get to a point where someone's got like 15 lands, you can't really do much about that. Like, you can't play mass land destruction. There's not really a way to bring them back to like base. Everybody's just behind for the game. And Price of Progress is the most fun way, especially since it's an instant. If someone's just been ramping out of control, or there's that one sorcery where you just get like any 10 lands into play and they think they have the game won, they're land falling all over the place, this is like the best way to just deal like 30 damage out of nowhere to multiple opponents. And especially if you're in mono red, or it's just like y'all and only play basic lands and just have this as like a in your back pocket, you barely get hit, you don't care, and you just deal a ton of damage out of nowhere. I think red has a lot of cool, even when it's not specific. So I would say if someone, they have their board state set up, they're about to win, they pass the turn. Even playing stuff like a Furnace of Wrath, which I feel like is like the OG red card of just everyone's damage is doubled. All of a sudden, the math for that person in the lead is just different. So like if we're playing and someone's popping off and they're like, okay, yeah, I got this. I can survive this, this, and this. Okay, everything damage is doubled. All of a sudden now everyone can just start punching that person in the face for more. And I think that, yeah, a lot of those like direct damage things, I feel like most times you don't account for damage being modified or damage just being dealt to face out of nowhere. It kind of goes in with the Ratos Charm and those types of things. Like, that's never math you're doing. It's like, what did this person have on board? Are they going to board wipe this and that? You're never thinking of just like, poof, I just took all my life total from 2 mana. How did that happen? Also, note that I don't listen to. Play more basics. That's the lesson I've learned from y'all too. Just play more basics. Like, it's crazy. This is kind of a side tangent that despite like game changers and all this being a thing, I actually think non-basic land hate is like super okay in lower power levels, just to encourage people to build better mana bases in the sense of don't get over crazy with duels and all this type of stuff. So like even stuff like Blood Moon and Ruination and those types of things that I feel like those were everywhere. I know when I first started playing, like Ruination was a normal thing even. Blood Moon was everywhere. Like, that wasn't a secret thing. Price of Progress was places. I think those taught us good lessons. It's like the thing, like, you need to get punched in the face as a kid at some point to, like, learn lessons in life. This is like the metaphorical punch in the face of Magic that you need to learn at some point so that you can learn to build decks and value basics.
I believe you need to be punched in the face as an adult and as an elderly person. As a matter of fact, I think you need to be punched in the face while you sleeping. So
yeah, I know. I saw, Ken. I saw. Okay, I'm aware. Said.
Yeah.
What do you got?
All right, so I like to do tricksy stuff. I believe that commanders are legal, in sense of like,
I believe lands are legal.
I believe sometimes commanders need to get OCO'd, and I'm not saying OCO is my pick, but I'm saying like sometimes commanders need to get dealt with. They need to be transformed into an elk, or they need to be put under. They need to be turned into an O1 indestructible bug. You know what I mean? They can't do anything.
Or chained to a rock like a sex pervert.
Where you get them chains? Anyway, I think that Mystic Reflection needs to be used more. This is a 1 in blue instant from Kaldheim. Choose target non-legendary creature. The next time one or more creatures or planeswalker enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as a copy of the chosen creature, and you can foretell it for blue. Basically, what I'm saying is like this is multimodal because this says that anytime any creature would enter this turn. So if they're doing the token thing where a bunch of mass tokens are about to enter, or and they're just like crazy big or whatever, like demons or giant plants or something, I don't know, or elementals, or they got their commander coming down, or like a Zakama that we just don't need to be a Zakama right now. Yeah, that's coming in as like an 0-1 plant with defender. That's coming in as like a 1-1 wizard. All those plants in that Avenger Zendikar, yeah, they're just like little sheep or whatever. Yeah, they're not that. Stop. That's what that card says. Stop.
So it's another one though that it's like this is one of the few cards that y'all mentioned that I was aware existed, but it's like again I can't predict what it's gonna do, so my little brain doesn't put it in decks, and it's just like no, this should be in a deck. It seems ridiculous.
It's literally like you can choose, like let's say you're doing like Merfolk or whatever, right? Yeah. Nobody else is doing a Merfolk strategy more than likely, so their ultra mega cards or creatures about to come in. Like no, you got a few Merfolk that does bullshit Merfolk things. I don't know.
So it's a nice crater hoof you had there. It'd be a shame if it turned into a Lord of Atlantis. Just whoops. Whoops.
That benefits you no way whatsoever.
Literally. Yeah, Ken, what do you got next?
Okay, I like to stop stuff before it happens. Actually, you know what? I like to stop stuff when it gets a little overloaded. So I like to point to the old tried and true Cataclysmic Gearhulk. Cataclysmic Gearhulk is a 5 mana. It's 3 colorless, 2 white. And what it says is when it ETBs, you choose one of every type, and you get it the hell out of here. You get it up out of here. You choose one. Oh, I like this. You choose one artifact, one creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker from among non-land permanents, and you sacrifice the rest. So you know what that also includes? That includes battles. Get those out of here if you play those because you know you're a heathen, and any other type out there that we haven't listed yet.
Yeah.
Isn't Cataclysmic?
Unless it's been eroded to include battles, but according to this card, those you sacrifice all those.
Is Cataclysmic Gearhulk legal in Commander?
Yes, it is. Why wouldn't it be?
Really?
You
I don't know. Is it one of those? Is it one of those cards banned? There's one of the. Oh no, it's the Titan. No, there's one of those white cards that's like enters, destroys lands that's banned.
First of all, that's colorless. No, you're talking about this
Sundering Titan or
Sundering,
like that?
Sundering Titan, and one that's
what it is. Okay, I don't play white. I don't know these things.
Wait
okay,
a second.
It's the other one that does something similar.
Wait. First of all, I said Gearhulk. Where the hell did you get Titan from that entire list? Second of all, colorless and 8. I said 5 with 2 white and 3 colorless. This math ain't mathing.
He just pictured a very large creature, and looking at the picture, this is a very large creature.
It's a big ass thing with a hammer.
It's a 4/5.
It's a hammer.
It's a 4/5.
Yeah, okay, but the art says bigger. Okay. I always go on rants about magic power toughness not making sense, but this dude is bigger than a city and has a literal giant steel hammer for an arm and is only a 4/5.
Hey, some people
standing on that hammer.
Man, some people prefer their cucumbers pickled. I don't know what to tell you.
But I get what Ken is saying.
Yes,
like this is
definitely
one of those things that says, hey, whatever you think you were doing, nah, cut that out.
My favorite is when somebody plays a bunch of enchantments. Like, I'm going to play Anointed Procession, so you can't target my stuff. And I was like, okay, first go find a nice corner to go shut the hell up in. Then go find you a nice stick to go fornicate yourself with. And then this doesn't target you. It makes every player do this. So you know what? Reduce, reuse, and shut the hell up. I'm playing Cataclysmic Gearhulk.
The Catechism of Geralt also studied amongst that weird group of people from the card, from the group of Shut the Hell Up. Is that?
And then I put, he was. If you look, that's who they looking at.
That's who's on the hammer. That's who's on the hammer.
Exactly.
It's that same little group of people with the candles.
There we go. They like, that's who they pray to. And then I'll play Athreos to say, hey, you gonna pay 3 for that? Are you gonna pay 3 for that, Derek?
This Gearhulk. I think more strategies actually need to be kind of used like that, because like mass sacrifice, it's like a board wipe, but you get to keep things, and some of them, like there's some white spells where you do get to choose what everyone gets to keep. There are some others where everyone has to sack down based on like power or based on like permanence or whatever. So I definitely like that. Like I think it was it Promise of Loyalty that was used on us recently?
That was going to be one of my next cards. Yeah, Promise of Loyalty is the exact same type of deal. It's from one of the. I don't think that's a reprint. I think that's a new card. I've never seen it before.
No, it's an old card.
Oh, it is. I've never seen that before.
You mean that bullshit card Derek played on this? Thank God for flicker effects.
Yeah, Promise of Loyalty says that everyone puts a counter on a creature, sacrifice the rest. That creature who has a counter on it cannot attack the player who's cast that spell.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a permagoad.
Yeah.
But, yeah. There's actually one similar to. Well, I won't say it's similar. Never mind. I'll mention this later.
Yeah, that Promise of Loyalty was like overperformed, and I do agree. I prefer board wipes at this stage, where people keep something, so it doesn't create a 4-hour game. Like a lot of board wipes, just like either like selective board wipes, like Vandal Blast is always great, or like creature-based board wipes. But we joke about it, but like Farewells and things that just get rid of all non-land permanents, it stops the game to such a halt that it's just like, is this even fun anymore? Now we just have to sit here and rebuild with whatever's in our hand, versus stuff like this, everybody gets to keep their best thing and the game kind of keeps rolling along. But yeah, so my next card that flips the script, I've used this against, this is actually the only time I've cast Farewell was with this card, and this is like a group of cards. I like taking my opponent's best card from their deck and beating them with it. And there's a variety of ways to do this, but the Knowledge Exploitation is one, and Knowledge Exploitation is I think it's a Kindred sorcery. It's one of those where if you deal damage with a rogue, you can play a Prowl cost, and you pick an opponent and cast any instant or sorcery out of their library. So you can just pick anything. So you can get anything from like some crazy Ultimatum, Rise of the Dark Realms, to a board wipe, to whatever it is. And for me, it's like you've picked the meanest thing in that person's deck, so they know how it feels. But there's so many other effects just like that, in whether it's briberies, or I love playing Valgavoth. Valgavoth's a similar anything where you're just choosing, because we play with Danny on our streams, and getting to cast his Ulamog the Defiler was one of the most satisfying things ever, in that like getting to just take the most powerful, obnoxious, mean card out of an opponent's library and then watch the pain on their face as they experience what they wanted you to experience. It's great. And there's so many times, most times, if someone's deck's popping off and going crazy, there's at least one card in their deck that will probably flip the game around. Very few people play like, oh, I'm playing Smothering Tithe, Rhystic Study in this, and nothing else powerful. If someone starts popping off with those cards and you play one of these, you know they got some goodies in there, and stuff's going to get weird. Knowledge Exploitation is my favorite, because I think instants and sorceries nowadays have the best chance of flipping a game, just because there's so many impactful board wipes and some one-sided. But even if you just play like an old school Bribery or an Inevitable Betrayal, which is like the suspend version, these are all things that most times, if someone's a problem at the table, something in their deck is going to turn that whole script around. And it's, oh my gosh, play your opponent's cards against them. It is the most satisfying way ever for them to learn what's in there, learn what they're doing to people, learn how it makes you feel. Said I'll throw it to you, unless y'all got any other theft effects like that, because there's a whole bunch at this point. I feel like they keep printing different versions of Bribery to varying degrees at this point.
Let me see. Yeah, I can't think of the name. It's like Show and Tell. Is that one? Is that something that
Show and Tell? I think is where everyone
does that
permanent into play or something.
I picked one up for Ken years ago. It was a blue one.
Yeah, show and tokens. This gets played in other formats. Yeah, each player can put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land from their hand onto the battlefield. So that is like in each player. It's almost similar to like the blue braids, where everybody just kind of drops something out.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I can't think of the other cards. Yeah, I don't really play those spells. Like I do play things that go in people's libraries, like more so black spells, where it's like I exile it and I can cast it later. Not really the ones that just like I can go specifically and target this and cast it right now. Other than the Sphinx, I can't think of the it's a 7-drop Sphinx 5 and 2 blue. I never get to use it because I feel like if I hit you with it, I deserve it. But it does exactly that. If I hit you, I can cast a creature spell from your graveyard. I mean from your library. It has an extra thing where it's like it makes you guess, and if you can't guess the name, then I get to cast it for free. But you're not gonna guess.
Yeah. It's just like a PSA for people out there. If you're at like MagicCons or LGSs, grab infinite tokens when you steal people's cards, because nobody wants everybody's grubby little fingers on their cards. I had somebody play my Krenko deck one time, eating pizza, and I almost fought them on the spot. Just have tokens. Something. Do not put your grubby little food hands on other people's cardboard.
But Derek, the pizza was delicious.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna eat pizza one day just to prove a point to you. One day you're gonna tell me to do it, and I'm gonna do it. And you're gonna be in that hotel room. You're gonna be holding on for life.
Please make sure I'm not there.
Those demons that you're fighting are gonna be real. They're gonna be so real.
Please make sure.
You act like
please uninvite me if I'm there.
You act like I won't hurt myself to prove a point. Like, do you not know who I am?
Valid. I'm
just not trying to get caught up in this war. I'm gonna move on to my next one. I love playing this card. I've never seen anyone else play this card. I'm surprised. I feel like I need to be on a soapbox preaching the gospel like Ken. But Mana Web, play your Mana Webs, people. This is a 3-drop artifact that says that whenever a land an opponent controls is tapped for mana, they have to tap all lands that can produce that color. It throws their entire turn off because they have to actually be conscious about what lands they're tapping, what they're putting their resources in. They can't do any tricks later. They have to do all their stuff in the main phase if they plan on like casting spells. And it really just lets you like see their game plan. Like, are they trying to like do something before combat? Or are they trying to do something after combat? So it puts them on their toes and it makes them actually think about what they're doing. And it gets to a point where they just can't even like play their full turn depending on what they cast. They could probably cast like one spell when they wanted to cast like 2 or 3.
Especially because it feels like if you're not in red, a lot of big turns you have don't necessarily win that turn, if that makes sense. Like you have to build something past. Not everything has haste. Like unless you're comboing off, you might get like a dominant board state, but it's like if we don't take care of this player this turn, we're gonna lose. And almost always they're going to hold up mana for counterspell. So yeah, Mana Web is incredibly annoying. You've played it against us before. It makes you think so much more. Like I think it makes you play suboptimally just because you're like, wait, this taps for this color, this taps for this color. Again, play more basics. If you play all basics, this makes it a whole lot easier. You make 3 piles, and that's all you got to worry about.
And just so people know, it does not affect colorless lands. So if they tap a land that only produces colorless mana, they do not have to tap the other colorless lands. It gets around that. Derek got around that one time because I did pair this up with another spell that I probably shouldn't do amongst friends, but probably going to throw it in higher tier decks. Pendro Mist is an enchantment for 3 and a blue. At the beginning of each, all creatures have at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this creature unless you pay 1 mana. And it's a generic color of mana, so you can pay really whatever. So Derek was able to get around this little combo that I created by paying colorless mana to keep the creatures he wanted, and was able to use his colored mana for the rest of his spells, whereas other people who didn't have as many colorless mana had to decide if they wanted to keep some creatures or tap some mana. So it puts you in a little...
Tabernacle the enchantment. Tabernacle the enchantment is brutal.
Yeah. Don't do this to your friends, Mana Web and Pendro Mist. Do it to your enemies. Your enemies. All right. You just after you play this, pack up your stuff and run to your car. That's all I got to say, because this was brutal.
Ken, are you looking at the art for Pendro Mist?
Oh man,
That's gonna be you in the
sick.
hotel room after I eat some pizza. Just hold on, you better pay that colorless.
What end? What end is that coming out? Is that going?
Yes, yes.
Is that going in or out? What is happening?
Just yes.
All right, Cam, what you got?
To quote the great M of M's, featuring Nate Dogs, till I collapse. Anyway, coming one of my favorite, switch cards, and somebody feeling themselves, and the guile music is playing. They don't went full Bankai, and they about to destroy the table and lay waste to everything, your dreams and everything, and they turn sideways and they do the cackling in the night like an evil witch choking on gingerbread, and you just cast Time Stop and you watch the life drain from their face, and you're like, want some? Get some. Time Stop is my dark magician.
What's the other new card that's kind of like Time Stop? Discontinuity. Yeah.
Love it.
These have caused my blood pressure to raise more than any other single card ever, in the sense of like nothing else happens where you don't even get the rest of your turn. Like even if someone psych rips mid-turn, you at least have the pettiness and satisfaction to be like, I don't pass yet. I'm going to look at my hand. Do I have anything? No, but I'm going to look at my hand for 30 seconds and pretend like I do. You don't even get that. It's literally just, no, it's my turn. Turn's done. You don't even get to think about it. It resolves. You're done. Stop. Oh my. My favorite is what makes this card even more brutal is when you read it and it has the reminder text. And I just want to read this reminder text because it just reiterates how fucked you are. Because the text is just end the turn, but in parentheses, exile all spells and abilities, including this spell. The player whose turn it is discards down to their maximum hand size, damage heals this turn, and until end of turn effects end, period. Just nothing. Stop. That's all you get. This is all that's happening to you. Nothing more.
Pack it up, go home.
You go no further.
Like sadness doesn't even get to go on the stack.
No, sadness.
Like, that's how brutal it is.
Sadness is a state-based effect, by the way.
It doesn't happen. Too bad.
Yeah, it's
Just
exile.
Be sad on the next player's turn, whose turn it is right now.
These are brutal. The funny thing is though, like the few times that, like if there's a different player who's the issue, which it usually can, usually you got that title, but usually if we're working together, this is one of those cards that I've had you cast a few times, and I've never felt so excited for a card to be cast. Like when you actually are stopping the issue. And it's just like, we're all hopeless, think it's done. And then it's just like, yeah, no, the turn's over. It's a wild feeling. I need to slot this. I don't think I have this in any decks, but I feel like I need to.
What you got next, Derek?
All right. So the last one I have is the whole reason that I thought of kind of this topic in the first place, because it's one of my like OG favorite cards from when I first learned about Magic, and then kind of its newer variant, and it's Insurrection. I feel like Insurrection used to be like the game ender back in the day of like, how do you win a game if you're playing red? Because red has nothing else. You're playing Insurrection. You're either Kiki Jiki comboing or Insurrectioning, and that's it. That's all red had. And Insurrection, for anybody that's not, it's an 8 mana sorcery, gain control of all creatures, untap them, they gain haste. Just that simple. There's very few points in a game of Commander when you cast this that you can't kill at least one player, and if someone's popping off, you're probably killing the whole table. But especially 8 mana, like if you're playing mono red, you might not be able to reliably get there. What I've found to be even just as fun a lot of times is mob rule. And so mob rule is similar, not the same thing, where you choose creatures power 3 or less, or choose creatures power 4 or greater. And with that, you gain control of all those creatures. So it's basically a situation where, did the token deck pop off? Oh, you got a million elves or insects or whatever. I'm going to take all those and kill the table. Oh, you just got big ass creatures. You're playing dinosaurs. I'm going to get all creatures power 4 or greater, take all those and kill the table. And this one's only 6 mana. And that 2 mana makes a huge difference, because I don't know, there's a lot of games I feel like now, if I wait till I get to 8 mana, I'm just dead. And that 6 mana might make the difference to keep me alive. But these are awesome, because it's the same deal of like, how mad can you be? You were about to do this to my face and do this to me and kill me. And now I'm using your exact cards to do it to you. You kind of deserve it. I'm surprised. Do either of y'all play these? These feel like cards I would die to, but I haven't seen y'all cast. I might have seen a Mob Rule cast, but I don't think I've seen y'all cast these.
You've seen me cast Mob Rule.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
I think I just need to force back Insurrection. I get that it's 8 mana and it's not 2016 anymore, but I still really I want to bring back Insurrection in 2025.
In my Don Andreas deck, the vampire that says that whenever I have creatures I don't control, that I don't own on my side, they become 2/2 vampires. They get +2/+2, and they're vampires or pirates or whatever. I forget. It was a pretty brutal deck, but yeah, Mob Rule was definitely doing work. I was like, do I want the big ones or I don't want the little ones? Either way, they coming back over there a little bit bigger.
I run it too, but also before I cast it, I run Goblin Bombardment so that I sack your creatures just in case you survive.
And Ken, you are beautiful, man. That you just read my mind. That's the next point I was going to make is if you run any sack outlets, these cards it goes from like I love Step Brothers. You know the scene where he like rubs his face in the white dog shit, makes him lick the dog shit like that. It goes from that to like it's not just white and crusty. Now it's wet dog shit that you're rubbing their face in because you just sacked their whole board on top of it. Like imagine, especially I think the best way to do that is you steal their board, hit them with it if they survive, and then afterwards cast the sack outlet. So they're not even like prepared for it. They think they just got the worst of it, and like, oh no, it's still getting worse. I'm losing everything. I don't even get my creatures back. Ken, you look very concerned.
Yeah, what do you be watching in your free time?
You don't watch Step Brothers?
No, I'm good.
You haven't seen Step Brothers?
He's seen it.
I was about to say, this would be blasphemy. Of all the things that I've never seen and all the shit I get, Step Brothers is an iconic movie of a generation.
I've never seen Step Brothers.
I know what we're doing at Gen Con. Wednesday night before the con starts. I know what we're doing.
We're watching Street Fighter from the 90s. That's what we're watching.
Because you told me that Will Ferrell was your favorite actor of all.
That is a lie from the pits of hell. Woo, that is a lie. I thought Talladega Nights was okay, and Anchorman 1 was all right. Anchorman 2 was like, but I didn't see Step Brothers.
But kind of similar to that plan, there I have a cheaper option of Insurrection. Remember when I brought up Reigns of Power? Let's say you do have a good board state and you don't necessarily want to make that trade. Play a Reigns of Power, make the trade, and then you play Brand, gain control of all permanents you own. It's just a 1-drop instant that's red. So for 5, Insurrection. With one other player. With one other player.
You build your own.
Yeah. Build your. We got Insurrection at home. It's
got cycling.
Yeah, cycling too. Reigns of Power plus Brand equals Insurrection 1v1.
Which, let's be real, is usually enough. It's usually one person that's the problem that you're trying to steal the creatures from, and then it's like 2 other people that you're like, I guess I'll take your Llanowar elves and your commander that nobody wants.
Right. I do have one more as well. I think this would be a good story to kind of end on for me because I forgot that this happened at a Gen Con years and years ago. Me and Cowboy Kyle, friend of the channel, were playing a game. This was back when I had my Grothama deck, mono green commander, 3 and 2 green. And it was just really one of those cards where I was like, I really wanted to see if people wanted to fight Grothama. Like, if you beat Grothama, you get to draw cards equal to the amount of damage you dealt to it. So Kyle was one of those people that plays Big Stompy, so I knew he was up to the challenge. He got a crazy big creature, destroyed Grothama, and I was like, you fell right into my trap, plebeian. At that moment, I hit him. He drew like a ton of cards because he dealt like crazy amount of damage, like 20 damage to Grothama. I was like, man, I'm so impressed with you, Kyle, but I'm about to hit you with Stormseker. This is a green instant for 3 and green. Stormseker says it deals damage to target player equal to the number of cards in that player's hand.
What the fuck is this card? In green?
Yes. There's also one in red, Gaze of the Automaro. This is from the Kamigawa set. This is 2 and 2 red, but same thing. Deals damage to target player equal to the number of cards in that player's hand.
I can't get over the green. The art is great. It's old Mark Poole art, for at least the one I'm seeing from Legends, and it just looks like the cover of some fantasy novel from like That's 1995.
Some He-Man, some Masters of the Universe kind of stuff going on with this sword right now.
Yeah, the Stormseker. That is, I need that card. That we have so many people. Like, how many times in a game does someone have like 20 cards in their hand?
All the time, all the time. Yeah, so get your Stormseker, people. People never see it coming. Everyone likes to draw all the cards in the world. Let them draw. Let them get tapped out almost at that discard phase. Hit them with the Stormseker.
Oh gosh, that feels like the hidden weapon in either some like in like some Final Fantasy game or some like the Stormseker, something out of a fighting game that you have to like unlock at the end to beat somebody with.
Yeah, I knew you would enjoy this. You say, you know, we play cards that aren't real, and we just put them into the database.
Y'all hacked my phone before this. None of these cards you've showed me have been real. I'm gonna go to my LGS, ask for these, and they're gonna laugh at me and be like, "Who told you this, dumbass? None of these cards that doesn't exist."
All these
playing with illegal cards.
All these are Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Right, but that's funny though, because that's actually what I have in mind when I play these cards. Is I have Yu-Gi-Oh on the brain. Like, what is the most Yu-Gi-Oh thing I can do in Magic? And that's how I try to come at Magic for the most part. And that's how I try to come at the game and try to enjoy it. Is like, what is the most like non-Magic thing I can do in Magic? That people just either don't see coming or is just a little unconventional but also effective.
And not like tournament Yu-Gi-Oh where the game ends in one turn and it's a bunch of like sweaty tryhards winning stuff. No,
I'm talking old school. Talking about the TV show.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah,
talking about Duel Masters, baby.
Yeah,
Duel
where
Monsters.
They stab castles in the sky,
and you lose a game.
The power of the creature is based on the moon and the tide in the ocean. You know, stuff like that.
And when you lose the game, you die.
yeah, you die. Sorry. For people who don't know, Shadow Realm is you just die. They don't come back.
Nope, gone forever. Not even like it's like they have like there's like purgatory, hell. Like none of the Shadow Realm is like beneath the depths of hell. Like there's no Sam and Dean come back from hell all the time. You're not coming back from the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, there's never been. You know how like in comic books, like everyone comes back from the dead, or you know, no one stays dead. Yeah, you go to the Shadow Realm. Nah, that's it. Name one character from Yu-Gi-Oh that returned from the Shadow Realm.
I know one that needs to go to jail, and her name is Taya. Anyway, but I'm pretty sure she was in love with a 13-year-old boy. But anyway, there's plenty of cards out here that we can tell you guys to help turn the tides of the battle, and that's what Magic is about. It's the eternal struggle in disposable income, the game. But, you know, how about in the comments below, you guys let us know some of the great turnaround cards that you guys use to help save your butt and pull it out the fire and help you live to fight another day.
And don't use them against us. We see y'all, you know, it's cool. You could tell us about it. You don't have to cast it, though. You could just tell us about the experience, and we'll take your word for it.
We will live through you. We'll take notes.
To quote the great Clifford Harris, Louis Knapsack is where I hold all that work at. You think you're pulling a trick on me. Nay, nay, silly mortal. I pull trick on you.
Call the ambulance, but not for me.
Not for me.
You go down. You go down to 3 hits. I hit you. Your life hit 0. Ambulance hit 60. That's how we do this.
All right, y'all. We getting out of here. Peace.